I found messages between my fiancée and her ex. Just marry him for the green card. Once you're a citizen, you can divorce him and we'll be together. We were 2 weeks from the wedding, but on our wedding day, instead of saying I do, I had immigration officers deliver the evidence. 68 missed calls by midnight. I never thought I'd be writing one of these posts, but here I am at 3 a.m., unable to sleep, my entire life turned upside down in the span of a few hours. 2 weeks from now, I, 29M, was supposed to be getting married to Sophia, 26F, my fiancée of 6 months. We've been together for just over 2 years, and I thought we had something real. Turns out I was just a convenient American passport. It started about 3 days ago. My laptop died, completely fried motherboard, and I had some urgent work to finish. Sophia offered to let me use hers while she went to the gym. Nothing unusual there. We've always shared our stuff pretty openly. No passcodes, no secret. At least that's what I thought. I logged into her laptop, got my work done, and was about to close it when a Facebook notification popped up. Usually, I wouldn't check her messages, but the preview caught my eye. It was from someone named Marco, and all I could see was, "When you're finally a citizen, we can..." Something in my gut twisted. I clicked on it. For context, Sophia came to the U.S. from Venezuela 4 years ago on a student visa. She finished her degree last year, and her visa extension is running out soon. We had talked about how our marriage would help her stay in the country, but it was never the reason we were getting married, or so I believed. What I found was hundreds of messages between her and this Marco guy going back over a year. At first, I thought maybe it was an old friend. Then I found messages from right after we got engaged. Marco, so he finally proposed. Perfect timing with your visa situation. LOL, Sophia. Yes, I didn't even have to push him that hard. He did it all on his own. Marco, how long do you think until you can get your green card? Wow. Sophia. After marriage, it's about 2 years for permanent residency, then 3 more for citizenship. Marco. 5 years isn't so long to wait. I'll be right here. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely scroll. It got worse. Sophia. I feel bad sometimes. He's actually a nice guy. Marco. Don't get soft now. Just marry him for the green card. Once you're a citizen, you can divorce him, and we'll be together. Remember our plan. Sophia. I know. Don't worry. I'm not going to throw away everything we've built just because I feel guilty. There were more recent messages, too, from just last week. Marco, how are the wedding plans going? Sophia, everything's set. He's paying for most of it. His parents are contributing, too. Marco, good. Make sure you look happy in all the photos. You need everyone to believe this is real. Sophia, I know how to act. Don't worry. I've been doing it for 2 years. 2 years? Our entire relationship. I sat there staring at her laptop for what felt like hours. I've never experienced anything like the feeling that came over me. It was like my heart was being physically crushed while simultaneously burning with rage. Every memory of us together flashed through my mind, now tainted by this new knowledge. Every I love you, every intimate moment, every plan we made for our future, all lies. When Sophia got home from the gym, I somehow managed to act normal. I don't know how. I guess I was in shock. She kissed me and asked if I got my work done, completely unaware that I had just discovered her betrayal. I mumbled something about being tired and needing a shower. As the hot water ran over me, I finally broke down. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay next to her, listening to her breathing, wondering how she could sleep so peacefully while living such a massive lie. I wanted to wake her up and scream at her, but something stopped me. The next morning, I called in sick to work. I waited until Sophia left for her job, then went back through her messages, taking screenshots of everything. I even found messages where she complained about our sex life to Marco, comparing us and telling him how much better he was. That one cut deep. I also discovered they had a plan for him to move here once she got citizenship. They were going to get married and live off whatever she could get from me in the divorce. They even joked about trying to get my house. At first, I thought about confronting her immediately, calling off the wedding, and kicking her out. That would be the sensible thing to do, right? But the more I thought about it, the more angry I became. This wasn't just a betrayal, it was calculated, cold. They had been planning this for years, laughing behind my back. I spent all day yesterday researching immigration laws. Turns out, what she's doing is actually fraud. Marriage fraud is a serious offense, with real consequences. I started documenting everything. Last night, Sophia was going over some wedding details, showing me photos of flower arrangements and asking my opinion. I sat there nodding, saying yes to everything, while inside I was completely hollow. She asked if I was excited and I forced a smile and said I couldn't wait. The look of relief on her face made my stomach turn. She's a better actor than I ever gave her credit for. I've decided I'm not just going to confront her and walk away. That would be too easy. She and Marco would just find some other way to game the system. No, they need to face real consequences for this. The wedding is in 2 weeks. I'm going to let her think everything is fine until then. I know this sounds cold, but you have to understand, this isn't just about me being hurt. This is about someone systematically using me for years, planning to take advantage of me financially, emotionally, and legally, and then laughing about it with her real partner. Tomorrow, I'm meeting with someone who can help me understand the legal implications better. I've already contacted some of my close friends to let them know what's happening without giving too many details. I need support right now, but I also need to be smart about this. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who would plan something like this. I always considered myself straightforward, honest. But then again, I never thought the woman I was going to marry was capable of this level of deception either. The wedding is still on. As far as Sophia knows, I'm smiling through cake tastings and confirming RSVPs like nothing is wrong. Meanwhile, I'm putting together a plan that will make sure she regrets ever thinking she could use me like this. There's a part of me that still loves the person I thought she was. Sometimes I look at her and can't believe she's capable of this. Then I remember those messages and how easily she's been lying to my face every day, and that love turns back to anger. The next 2 weeks are going to be the hardest of my life. But on what was supposed to be our wedding day, Sophia is going to learn that I'm not the fool she and Marco think I am. I'll update when I can. Right now, I need to focus on keeping it together while I figure out exactly how to handle this. One thing's for sure, I won't be saying I do. Update. First, I want to thank everyone who responded to my last post. The support has been overwhelming. I've read every comment, and while I haven't had time to respond to all of them, they've helped keep me going through what's easily been the worst 2 weeks of my life. To recap, I discovered messages between my fiancée Sophia and her ex Marco revealing they've been planning for her to marry me just to get a green card, then divorce me once she becomes a citizen so they can be together. Our wedding is in 2 days, and yes, it's still happening, but not the way she thinks. The day after my last post, I met with an immigration attorney. I showed him the screenshots I had collected, and he confirmed what many of you said in the comments. This is textbook marriage fraud. He explained that the penalties can be severe, up to 5 years in prison, $250,000 in fines, and immediate deportation. He also told me exactly what evidence would be most compelling to immigration authorities. Armed with this knowledge, I spent the next few days methodically documenting everything. I backed up all the Facebook messages to a secure cloud account. I went through her emails. Yes, I know that's normally not okay, but these are extraordinary circumstances. There I found even more travel plans she'd made with Marco for after our honeymoon. Discussions about how to maximize what she could get from me in a divorce. Even jokes about how clueless I was. The hardest part has been acting normal. Every morning I wake up next to her, force a smile, and pretend my world hasn't shattered. We've had multiple wedding-related events, the final venue walkthrough, picking up my suit, a dinner with family who arrived early. Through it all, I've had to play the role of excited groom while carrying this burning coal of anger in my chest. 3 nights ago, I almost broke. We were lying in bed and Sophia turned to me with this look in her eyes. For a second, it seemed so genuine, and told me she couldn't wait to be my wife, that she'd never been happier. I had to excuse myself to the bathroom, where I punched the wall hard enough to leave a dent in the drywall. I covered it with a picture the next day. Sophia never noticed. What's been truly eye-opening is watching her performance. She's good, really good. The way she holds my hand during family dinners, the tears in her eyes when my mom gave her a family heirloom necklace to welcome her to the family. If I hadn't seen those messages, I would never have suspected a thing. There's something deeply unsettling about realizing someone can lie so convincingly while looking you directly in the eyes. I've been in contact with ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Initially, they were skeptical. They get a lot of reports from angry exes trying to cause problems. But when I showed them the evidence, particularly the explicit messages about their plan, they took it seriously. I've been working with an agent named Aaron who specializes in marriage fraud cases. He's been incredibly helpful in guiding me through the process. The plan is set. I won't go into specific details, just in case Sophia somehow finds this, but immigration officers will be at the venue. Everything is timed down to the minute. They'll stay hidden until my signal during the ceremony. Yesterday, Sophia's parents arrived from Venezuela. They seem like genuinely nice people, and I feel bad about what they're about to go through. They've spent money they probably couldn't afford to come here for their daughter's wedding. I wonder if they know about her plan, or if she's deceiving them too. Either way, they'll be caught in the fallout, and that's the one part of this I regret. I found out something else interesting yesterday. Remember Marco, the ex she's been planning this with? Turns out he's not just staying home. Sophia invited him to the wedding as a friend from college. The audacity is almost impressive. He RSVP'd, yes. I've seen his picture now, so I'll recognize him when he arrives. The thought of him sitting there, watching the ceremony, thinking their plan is working perfectly, it adds a whole new layer to my rage. But it also means he'll be there to face consequences alongside her. Last night, Sophia wanted to have a special dinner, just the two of us, before all the wedding chaos. We went to the restaurant where we had our first date. She kept talking about our future, the house we might buy next year, even bringing up baby names, all while knowing none of it was real. I sat there, nodding and smiling, while feeling like I was watching a performance by an actress who doesn't realize her audience knows the script is fictional. The ring box in my pocket, the one with her wedding band that I'd picked out months ago with so much hope, felt like it was burning a hole through my clothes. I almost reached for it several times, not to give it to her, but to throw it in her glass of champagne and tell her I knew everything. But I held back. The plan is better, more thorough. She deserves the full public revelation after what she's done. My best friend Tyler knows everything. He's the only person I've told the full plan to. He'll be standing beside me at the altar, not as my best man celebrating my marriage, but as support for what comes after. He thinks I'm doing the right thing, but he's worried about me. This isn't you, he told me yesterday. You've always been the most straightforward guy I know. Maybe I was before. People change when they realize how easily they can be deceived by someone they love. The wedding rehearsal is tonight. My parents, her parents, the wedding party, everyone will be there, running through the motions of what should have been one of the happiest moments of my life. I'll have to stand at the altar, practice my vows, look into her eyes and lie, just like she's been lying to me. There's a certain poetic justice to it, I suppose. I haven't slept more than a couple hours at a time since discovering the truth. When I do sleep, I have vivid dreams of the ceremony. Sometimes I dream that I go through with it, that I never found those messages, that I live years in a fraudulent marriage before discovering the truth when it's too late. I wake up in a cold sweat, relieved that I caught it in time. Sophia has been unusually attentive. Last night she gave me a handwritten letter telling me all the things she loves about me. As I read hollow words like your honesty and the way I can trust you completely, I realized something. She's not just convincing me, she's convincing herself. She's created a narrative where what she's doing isn't that bad, where I'm getting something out of this too. A beautiful wife, companionship. The mental gymnastics people can perform to justify their actions is remarkable. It's strange to share a bed, share meals, share wedding preparations with someone you now realize is essentially a stranger. The Sophia I fell in love with doesn't exist. Never did. I'm grieving for a person who was never real. 2 more days. Just 2 more days of this charade. And then it ends. Not with the quiet signing of divorce papers years from now as she planned, but with the public revelation of her true intentions. I've imagined the moment 1,000 different ways. Sometimes I feel sick about it. Other times I can barely contain my anticipation. This will be my last update before the wedding. My next post will be after everything goes down. I'm not nervous anymore. I'm not even angry in the same hot, immediate way I was when I first found those messages. Now it's a cold, calculated determination. I've thought of every contingency. I've prepared for every possible reaction. There's no way for her to talk her way out of this one. The last 2 weeks have been a masterclass in deception, both hers and now mine. The difference is, after Saturday, I'll never have to lie again. Sophia, on the other hand, will have to face the consequences of her lies for years to come. I should go. I need to pick up my suit and meet the immigration agent one last time to finalize details. The next time you hear from me, this will all be over, and Sophia will understand that she chose the wrong person to try to manipulate. Update 2, it's done. I'm writing this from a hotel room across town, my third whiskey in hand. The wedding venue has been cleared, guests have gone home, and Sophia is probably still being questioned by immigration officials. Her carefully constructed plan has completely fallen apart, and I feel not as good as I thought I would. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This morning started surreally normal. I woke up in our apartment alone. Sophia had stayed with her parents at their hotel, following tradition. I showered, shaved, and stared at myself in the mirror for a long time. The face looking back at me didn't feel like mine. I'd lost weight these past 2 weeks, and dark circles had formed under my eyes from the lack of sleep, but I was clear-headed, resolved. My best man Tyler came over around 10 a.m. to help me get ready. He's been my rock through all of this. As I put on the suit I'd picked out months ago, when I still thought I was marrying the love of my life, Tyler kept checking in. "You sure about this?" he'd ask. Each time my answer got firmer. By the time we left for the venue, there wasn't a trace of doubt left. The ceremony was set for 2 p.m. at this beautiful old converted barn outside the city. Sophia and I had chosen it together last fall, walking the grounds as leaves changed color, talking about our future children playing there someday. The memory made me sick. I arrived early to make sure everything was in place. Aaron, my contact from immigration, confirmed his team was ready and waiting in a side room. I gave him the signal we'd agreed on. When I said, "I need to share something important before we continue," they would enter. Guests began arriving around 1:30. Sophia's family, my family, our friends, about 120 people in total. I greeted everyone with a smile that felt stretched across my face like plastic wrap. A few people commented that I seemed nervous. If only they knew. At 1:45 I spotted him, Marco. He walked in with 2 other friends of Sophia's, dressed impeccably in a tailored blue suit. He had the audacity to smile and shake my hand, congratulating me. I wanted to punch him in the face, but that wasn't the plan. Instead, I thanked him for coming and said I hoped he'd enjoy the ceremony. The confusion that flashed across his face was just a taste of what was coming. At 2 p.m. sharp, the music started. The wedding party processed down the aisle. Then came Sophia on her father's arm. I have to admit she looked stunning. Her dress, her smile, the tears in her eyes. If I hadn't seen those messages, I would have believed every bit of it. Her father placed her hand in mine, and for a brief moment I felt a pang of something. Not regret, exactly. Maybe mourning for what could have been, if any of it had been real. The officiant began the ceremony. "Welcome, dearly beloved. We are gathered here today." I barely heard the words. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone must hear it. Sophia squeezed my hand, mistaking my tension for emotion. I pulled away slightly. When the officiant reached the part about "speak now or forever hold your peace," I took a deep breath. This wasn't the signal we'd planned, but I couldn't resist the poetry of it. "Actually," I said, my voice stronger than I expected, "I need to share something important before we continue." Sophia looked at me, confusion replacing her smile. The room went completely silent. I turned to face our guest. I'm sorry you all came here today under false pretenses.